It's Legally Blind Journal number 40. So that, yeah, it's hard to believe it's been not many, but um, so what's going on? Let's see here. My vision hasn't really changed in the last little bit that much. Um, Struggling with the migraine thing, working through that. Um, did some planting on the farm, dogwood tree and blueberry bushes, stuff like that. I'm gonna do potatoes and some other things. That was learning how to do old things in new ways, right? So when we were doing the dogwood tree and the blueberry bush and whatnot, um, my vision lies to me, of course. And so, at any rate, I went to dig the first hole, and my spouse was like, "You are way too deep on that one." And so for me, when I looked at it, it wasn't. But once I walked over and put my hand down in, I was like, "All right, well, I guess I'm gonna go to China here." So, um, check and check often when digging holes for trees. That would definitely be something. And I know better, and I just wasn't thinking about it. Again, that's that whole when I trust my eyes and forget about the fact that they lie. That's where I get into trouble. So, at any rate, no harm, no foul. Got some of those put in, which was cool. And relaxing. I don't get very many major migraines or things if I'm not trying to read and push too hard with my eyes like that, like digging the holes for the trees and stuff like that. I'm not trying to read the dirt, so that seems to be the key difference in the factor. I guess for whatever reason, the trees being a little blurred up doesn't bother me too much, as long as I'm not trying to read them. So that's just something interesting. Um, did a trip here recently, and it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. The porters, everybody was really good this time. And I just think I've come to peace with when they bring a chair up, just sit in it and just go, just no pun intended, but just roll with it. I will say that it definitely makes a huge difference in Atlanta. Lord have mercy. I had a plane land, and the next plane connection was literally had started boarding 4 minutes prior to our getting to the gate at the first plane. And the porter's like, "Hey, I normally would ask if you prefer to run an elbow or a chair, but your plane's boarding, so I brought a chair. If you don't mind, let me push you because it's going to be a lot faster." And I went, "Yep, we're good. Let's go." And interesting factoid on that. I hadn't experienced this before because I normally do the walk thing, but we got over to the other plane. Of course, it had been long since boarding. I think they were getting close to the last call stuff. And so, at any rate, because I was in the chair, instead of holding the elbow, she took me straight down the jetway. There's a long line of people all the way down the jetway. Just took me straight down the jetway, past everybody, and then, got in the plane, and they helped me get the luggage put up because, of course, we were way past pre-boards, and excuse me, bumped into a few people, chairs, seats, all that, because they were already on the plane, and but they seemed to be pretty understanding, and I certainly wasn't trying to. So getting on the planes earlier is definitely preferred. Having a space for your luggage is a must if you have a problem like that, because it really works out to know where your bags are when you go to land and get off. So I'm pretty much kind of I guess I would say I'm at the point of just being at peace with, they want to roll me around, then fine, whatever, we'll roll. It's took me a little while just to be like whatever on that, and that's kind of where I'm at. But beyond that, trying to get organized, as you see in the background. The barn is an absolute disaster right now with the move and everything, and hopefully eventually we'll get some semblance of of order going on, because it's a little tough, I trip over quite a bit of things right now because I just don't have it laid out properly. But the house has gotten laid out, and doing pretty good there. I've smacked my head on the TV that's got to be on a bit of an outswing quite a few times. Hopefully enough now that I know it's there. And doing some other things that have helped. Got some big pink ribbon tied to hoses. So when the hoses are stretched across different parts of the yard, that the ribbon tied about every 6 or 8 feet probably really helps a lot. Break that contrast. Got that same big pink ribbon tied to my spouse's charger for the Jeep, and same thing, about every 6 or 8 feet or something, so that when that cord is not in its normal spot, it jumps out at me, and lets me know, hey, there's a cord here. So that's been very, very helpful. I've got that kind of set up in a lot of places. Got it tied on the corners of the barn and whatnot. And, you roll up, you might go, well, that looks a little odd. You got pink ribbon tied to all these different things. Yeah, well, yeah, I can get over it. Hope you can too. But beyond that, it's been coming along pretty good. The mail carrier now knows that, I'm not going to see her. Generally speaking, I mean, it's not like I don't try, but, peripheral and stuff. So she'll literally give a couple little honk taps on her car as she comes down the drive, and then as she leaves, which is pretty cool of her. UPS guy's basically doing a very similar thing. When he goes to move from a stationary point, I mean, that truck's huge. You can hear that on the gravel forever. However, when he just before he starts moving, he gives a few taps to let me know he's about to move and where his truck is basically at. So that's good. Because for me, it's I can tell there's a big blurry brown box truck over there if it's in my line of vision. My peripheral, though, has gotten so bad that I miss a lot of things off to the side. And so they know that. And so I thought that was pretty cool of them. That they do that, and I mean, it can't really be much better than that, I guess, is where I'm trying to go. So, the only trick is when you get a driver who's never been out here for something, and, they don't know. Been debating on whether I should put a little, sign up, because I've got a sign that says deliveries this way, because it's a pretty decent sized property, and we get their deliveries in one spot versus where the house is. And been debating on whether I should put a little sign up that basically says, hey, blind guy crossing, honk for me or something, whatever. I don't know. I haven't decided. I might do something just because it really does help a lot. And, if you got a substitute driver, they don't know. And I really don't want to, turn the tractor not knowing they're there and hit the vehicle. And if you go, ooh, shouldn't be driving a tractor then. No, listen, trees don't move, buildings don't move. All the people in my life know they need to move. And I try and look as best I can. A vehicle moves. So in other words, I've already cleared the area. I know what's there and not there. And then something puts itself there. That's where a problem can come in. So because I do scan, I do physically move my head left and right so that I can try and find what I missed in the peripherals. But again, if something pulls itself into what was already scanned, that's where I can run into a problem. So thinking about maybe doing something like that, a sign or something that helps with that. And as all the neighbors know. So beyond that, this week I'm gonna keep working on this migraine control issue. That's really my biggest problem right now. And I know this sounds funny because that's you're blind. Well, yeah, I can deal with the blind stuff. The migraine situation is definitely a serious one, and I'm trying to work through that. So, did get approval for the special glasses. I have no idea if they're going to work. They don't know if they're going to work, but I'll definitely show those and talk about them when they get here. That whenever that happens here soon, and then beyond that, just really hoping the headache migraine thing gets under control, because it's no joke, and it's not just with like work reading. I mean, it's reading in general. Like if I push it too hard, like Saturday we were trying to read. I was trying to read something at Lowe's, and yes, I had the phone doing the magnifying thing. It's still, if you push and strain them too long, too hard, it gets there. And we had already been to several other places, and several things that were pushing and straining the eyes. And I would call it, it's going to sound funny, I would call it a light migraine. It was still migraine. It still wasn't great by any means, but there are different levels. And I would call it a light migraine triggered on Saturday, but that got under control because I stopped trying to breed crap, and I just, went and cut down a tree and pulled the root stumps up and planted some plants, stuff like that. And it got under control. So I think I just have to figure out a way to not push them quite as hard, and follow what the docs say about breaks, and try these new glasses, and whatnot. I use the adaptive technologies as much as possible, but Fusion and JAWS, basically it's the JAWS reader, basically. It's great, but there's actually things that you physically just have to turn it off, because it's too much for it, and you'll start getting errors in other things, like Excel calculation errors will happen. You'll have issues with email creation sometimes if things get just too complex for it. So, it's not, the solution isn't just use that all the time, because it doesn't work that way, at least not for what I have to use it for. So I do need to make sure I use it as much as humanly possible, and that helps. So I'm going to keep working on that this week and kind of see where we go with all that. I'm really hoping these glasses they're sending will help, because it's supposed to help with that reflective glare and stuff more than my sunglasses trick. So looking forward to trying that out and seeing how it goes. And the very bottom line of all of this is you just got to keep on reminding that finding new ways to do old things, absolutely what it is. And yeah, man, your attitude, your where you keep your headspace at, has a huge effect on everything. So staying positive about stuff, it's not cliche. It does have an effect. It has an effect on your health. I mean, I can tell you from my personal, if I'm having a tough day, then everything's tough. And if I shake that off and remind myself of, again, I think it's the Shakespearean deal about basically, paraphrasing, feeling sorry for myself because I didn't have shoes. Looked over, saw the guy with no feet, and I felt pretty good about myself now. I remind myself of that quite often, but also especially on those days, and things get a little better, just because the attitude's getting better, So I think that's a very, very important and a very crucial piece of the puzzle. Where you put yourself in mental headspace and where you allow yourself to be mentally, it has a huge effect on everything else in this visual impairment, this blindness journey. So, all right, well, maybe cross fingers. Maybe next time we'll have those new glasses in and have a chance to try them out. Hope so. Over the next little bit here, going to be working on getting the dog fencing up. Luckily, we haven't lost anybody yet on that. They've been coming back to the house, but it's a matter of time with that puggle. His nose is going to take him. So trying to get the fence up, and then we're trying to get the planting in this weekend and get that growing because we're running out of time with that. And after that, start moving on to slowly building the pasture fencing because once that's in, we can start bringing in the goats and chickens and whatever, and that should. And I'm thinking that will help as well because it's just a good thing I can do that doesn't require reading. No goat never asked me to read them a bedtime story. You know what I'm saying? So, at any rate, I hope everybody does okay, and just kind of keep the right attitude, keep smiling, keep moving, and you're gonna have bad days. Yeah, if you ever had visual acuity, you had bad days when you could see, and if you never have, trust me, everybody has bad days. It's just a matter of where you put your headspace, how quickly you get back in the right headspace, and do the best that we can to make the adaptations that we can to make the best out of whatever the situation is. And that's what I'm going to focus on going into the week, and we'll see where things go, and hopefully we can, like I said, get the migraines under control with the reading and all that stuff. All right, y'all be good.